Had to see that she fell in love with his mind and the way they were able to banter,
Yeah.
because she's probably seen a lot of attractive men at this stage in her life. But so why him? Even though she knows that he's maybe not the best idea because he's not a relationship guy. What was it about him? And you had to see that that connection was a little bit of friendship, a little sexuality and lust, and also it was intelligence. We really are rooting for each other, and like it was my goal to make his movie as successful as I possibly could in whatever way I could.
I've been so caught up in the court case that I haven't had much time to think about the gossip surrounding Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and even Taylor Swift. But recently, one topic keeps coming up in my comments and across social media. People keep asking if Blake and Ryan's marriage is in trouble, if they might be heading for a divorce, or if the stress is too much for them. I don't have insider information, and I don't have someone like Leslie Sloan on call to tell me the truth, so I can't confirm what's happening. My perspective comes from observation, not personal knowledge of their private life. Lately, Ryan has been on the red carpet or promoting the John Candy documentary he produced. During interviews, he has made some unusual jokes and comments. For example, he joked about having a son and said that if he had had a boy earlier, he would have punched down his manhood because he couldn't handle raising 4 sons. He also shared stories about trying to reach Bill Murray for the documentary, explaining that Murray had been ignoring him, and Ryan humorously said he told Blake, "F you, I'm taking a phone call." Comments like these have caused fans to speculate that there might be tension in their marriage. Another reason people are talking is that Blake and Ryan haven't been seen publicly together on red carpets. She hasn't attended his events, and he hasn't appeared with her. This has fueled rumors from podcasts, Substacks, and entertainment media suggesting that they fight often and that their relationship is under stress. However, I find it hard to believe their marriage is truly in crisis. For these rumors to have weight, we would have to assume that Blake and Ryan are deeply affected by the stress, but from what we know, they likely feel confident in themselves and their choices. Ryan may simply avoid talking about Blake publicly to protect his brand, and Blake may skip red carpet appearances to avoid distraction. In other words, they may just be carefully managing their public image. And Blake may skip red carpet appearances to avoid distraction. Historically, Ryan's behavior has sometimes been brash or inconsiderate, but that doesn't necessarily mean his marriage is failing. Richard Feck, a photographer who worked with them years ago, described Ryan as controlling and sometimes demeaning, while Blake was seen as very young and impressionable when they met. She looked up to him and often modeled her career and behavior around him. Feck observed that Blake could be manipulative in return, emotionally connecting to co-stars and fueling Ryan's impulsive reactions. Even during a high-profile legal case involving Feck, where false accusations were made, Blake and Ryan stayed united. They coordinated their actions, supported each other, and handled the situation together. This shows that when faced with pressure, they remain aligned rather than divided. So, while their recent public behavior and comments may seem strange, it doesn't necessarily indicate a failing marriage. Much of what we see is likely a combination of Ryan's unfiltered humor, media speculation, and the way the couple manages public appearances. Despite appearances, they have navigated challenges together for years and appear to remain a strong team, handling stress in their own way while protecting their relationship and careers. I recently spoke with someone in the financial world who was close to the team handling the IPO for Mountain, the marketing company Ryan Reynolds was involved with. According to them, the people connected to the IPO were worried about how Ryan's marketing choices and mistakes could affect the company's public launch. At the same time, Ryan was dealing with a lawsuit. Despite the potential risks, he was reportedly willing to spend millions to protect his image as a top marketer. From what this source explained, a lot of the lawsuit seemed less about Blake Lively or claims of harassment, and more about Ryan shielding himself from criticism and avoiding blame for the marketing issues. The strategy appeared to focus on creating a narrative where the public backlash could be blamed on a smear campaign rather than the actual decisions made in promoting the project. Fans reacted negatively to certain cross-promotions, Blake's involvement with alcohol brands, or jokes made by Ryan that were interpreted as showing jealousy or aggression. For Ryan, It seems easier to point to an imagined campaign against them than to take personal responsibility for mistakes. According to this perspective, it's unlikely the case will go to trial. The evidence may not support the claims, and it seems the goal is to prolong the situation as long as possible while causing maximum damage to the targets, including Baldwin and Wayfair. Richard Feck, a photographer familiar with Ryan's behavior, described him as habitual and highly strategic, someone willing to use any method to achieve his goals without considering consequences. Once his efforts fail, he tends to retreat quietly, making the situation seem over quickly. This approach aligns with the way the lawsuit appears to be handled. Regarding Blake and Ryan's marriage, there are signs of serious problems. Blake has financial independence, but her lifestyle depends heavily on Ryan's wealth and career. While she could secure support if they separated, the presence of young children complicates any decision. Feck has said Ryan deeply loves his family, and despite public displays that might suggest otherwise, he is unlikely to end the marriage. Instead, it seems he prefers controlling the dynamic, potentially limiting Blake's career so he remains the central figure while she becomes secondary. The foundation of their marriage is still there, but the issues they are facing are now more visible to the outside world. Their conflicts, frustrations, and power struggles are no longer hidden. It's as though the private difficulties that used to remain behind closed doors are now out in the open for everyone to notice. This exposure can make a relationship seem more fragile than it really is. Just because disagreements are seen publicly doesn't necessarily mean the marriage is falling apart. It simply shows that the tensions, insecurities, and differences that existed all along are now easier to observe. What might have been private and subtle before has become more obvious, and that can give the impression that something is dramatically wrong, even if the situation hasn't truly changed at its core. In my opinion, the marriage isn't necessarily on the edge of collapse. The couple is likely dealing with regular disagreements, frustrations over control, and feelings of jealousy or competition, but these are problems that many couples face at some point. The difference now is that everything is more visible, which makes people speculate about splits or serious fights. The speculation grows because we are seeing more of what was always there but previously kept private. I'd love to hear what you think about this. Do you see the same patterns in their relationship? Are there signs that things might get worse, or do you think this is just a phase where tensions are more apparent? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this discussion, please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click the notification bell so you never miss any future updates or insights about relationships and other interesting topics. Ship has fundamentally changed. Leave a comment below, give this video a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss an update.